there's something really powerful that you can do to help you rebuild the relationship with your alienated child. And like most things that we do, it's counterintuitive. It's not something that everybody is talking about, but it is something that is really powerful. And we are so excited to share it with you. Hey, everybody, this is Ryan Thomas from Get Them Back, and I am joined by our emotion and mindset coach, Jen.
Hey, everybody.
Jen, let's go ahead and tell everybody, what is this powerful and unique thing that nobody really talks about?
Yeah, one of the biggest secrets to creating breakthroughs with parental alienation all comes down to healing yourself. Now, this may seem counterintuitive, like Ryan had mentioned, but I want to kind of walk you through why this is such a critical part of the process. Because when you really think about what parental alienation does, layer by layer, it is a process that not only slowly erodes the relationship between you and your child, it also slowly erodes you and who you are. And most parents, when they come to us looking for help and guidance, there's no stable foundation for them to stand on. It can feel like your own personal power and self-worth has been taken away. Now, that awareness right out of the gate is really important, because parental alienation and overcoming it, it's actually all a journey about reconnecting and healing. But that means all relationships involved. A lot of times parents, when they're trying to fight this or overcome it or battle it, this thing that's outside of themselves, they're focused so much on the child. What do I do? And how do I get through to them? And how do I fix this? That the longer the time that persists, the more damaging it is to your sense of self. As you're listening to this, just think about where you are for a moment, because most parents come to us carrying some emotional weight with them. Everything from anger and frustration to sadness, to depression, to anxiety, to guilt, to shame, to remorse, to regret, right? That's a lot of emotional weight. So when you're thinking about healing the relationship with your child, and you think about a time when that relationship with your child felt good, full of love, full of joy, wanting to experience that from your child. Yes, the communication and outside strategies are critical for that. But what we'll oftentimes explain to parents, and why healing yourself is so important in creating breakthroughs, is that when you're communicating from a place, when you are in fear, stress, doubt, worry, desperation, anger, frustration, that communication is much less than effective. Because what does it do, Ryan? We see this all the time. It puts up their walls, right? The child can go on the defensive, or they can lash out. Not to mention, it robs you of your power, and you aren't connected with yourself, your truth. Parental alienation takes away your light. And one of the biggest things that I work on with parents is helping you get your light back. Because when you can communicate from that place, communicating from a place where you have genuine hope and belief in change, where you're focused on creating opportunities, where you feel a confidence in creating change with your child, where you know what it means to stand in your ground and you know who you are, whether that's someone that in your natural light, you're a strong warrior-like presence, or you're soft and gentle and nurturing and loving, communicating from that truth is so, so powerful. And Ryan, we see this in the communication aspect, right? When parents need support with communicating, they're like, well, I've tried this, but it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work, right? Like, we have to be really mindful. Like, you and I have both heard that narrative behind the scenes. And the thing that I always love to talk about, I'll just share this and then pass it back to you. Everything in this world is like a mirror. Parental alienation is a mirror. The alienator is mirroring their insecurities onto your child and projecting them onto you. And then as you absorb all of those lies and brainwashing and gaslighting, you start to take in those weights, the insecurities. That starts to shape how you think, how you feel, what you believe to be true, what you question what is true, what you say to yourself every day. And guess what? As you're trying to create change with your child, all of that then gets mirrored back out to them. So your child is stuck in the middle of a really, really controlling parent, and then a parent who is completely uncertain on what to do. The work that we do in healing yourself is so important, because everything is like a mirror. When you reconnect with yourself, when you heal within yourself, that puts you in a better position to reconnect and heal with your child. Because the very outcome you want to create with your child, you start by creating that change within yourself, and you mirror that back out. And that's what combats the alienation, but you do it from a place of truth and of love and of alignment with yourself.
Yeah, I love everything that you just shared. And honestly, bringing you on and having our team be able to support parents in this way has been such a difference maker. And the reason that I say that is not only for everything that you've just said conceptually, but also on the getting right down to, where the rubber hits the road of communication is, you see how powerful it is. It's the difference between going, hey, Ryan, this is great. You were an alienated child, so you understand what it is. And hey, I trust in you because you've now worked with other parents and all of that. The difference between, okay, I'll do what you say and I'll give it a shot, but I don't know if it's going to happen. You don't know what I've been through, or all of the emotions, understandable emotions that parents bring, that seeps into the communication or even the dynamic, the energy around it, right? You can tell whether you have words on a paper or words coming out of your mouth, and then what's really going on emotionally behind the scenes. And honestly, I think that was a huge missing link that I didn't even know how important it was. Until the last couple of years in doing this work. Because when you have the ability to say, I trust in myself, I believe in myself, I'm worthy of all of this, and I can find a way to channel that good, positive energy into that communication. Not only does the communication show up, as you were mentioning, light and bright, and you're expanding it to your child,
Yeah.
the emotion, the head trash, the emotional weight of it goes from, I don't know if this will work, but I'll give it a try, and all of that negative, to, I believe this can work. I understand why it can work. Oh, it feels so amazing to have options. Oh, it's so great to feel like I can have a consistent plan to follow and a variety of different things so that it sounds different. It sounds unique. It's authentic to what my kids need. All of that hope, joy. It's not just window dressing. It's not just a word. Feel better, feel hopeful. It's actually, no, you can feel that way because not only do you have the right tools, but you have the right foundation. And when something like alienation rips out your foundation, rips out your heart, your footing, your grounding, your self-belief, especially for people that up until that point have been successful, have been happy, have been productive, not perfect, right? But just the ability to, I can trust myself. And then that rug gets pulled out from under you. It takes more than just an approach and a strategy with your child, which is what I focused on the entire time I've ever been doing this work. But when you can back that with what you're talking about, Jen, with the emotion and the mindset and the belief and the trust in yourself again, and having that confidence, that's the game changer. And that's why I'm so excited about what we've been doing now.
Yeah, well, and a lot of it too is like really as parents are dealing with this, sometimes it's hard to even recognize how this process has slowly eroded who they are, because before you know it, it can just feel like it's your normal when you're dealing with all these behaviors and tactics. And then you feel this frustration looking out in the quote unquote normal world and seeing all of these things that seem normal parent-child relationships and interactions. So we wanted to talk about this topic today because look, it's really important. You're here because you're probably looking for answers, but feeling like you're not getting anywhere. It's okay. There's just another layer for you to go. There's other areas where you can look at, because emotional weight builds over time. Every person carries emotional weight, but if they're trying to create change while holding on to the emotional weight, it is much more difficult. It's like trying to stuff a oversized suitcase into a tiny little overhead bin. Like, get in there. Like, it just doesn't work. And I feel like what we've really been thinking about, like as our conversations has evolved, and as we've supported parents, how that's evolved, there's really 3 layers to this. Like the top layer is just defining what parental alienation is, helping you understand it, helping you maneuver around what has happened, why it's happening, what actually is this phenomenon that's more common than not. And then the layer below was, Ryan, from your perspective, looking at it from, okay, how do I communicate? So what is parental alienation? And then what do I do about it is the communication, the strategic side, right? And as we've been diving deeper into this, that's where that mirror effect aspect we were really looking at, because if a parent, if you're dealing with loss and grief with your child, then inside of you, you don't feel whole, you feel a gap. If you feel disconnected from your child, you probably feel disconnected in other areas in your life. If you lack confidence in communicating with your child, that changes your tone, that changes your energy, that changes what you're thinking behind the scenes. And we have to be really, really mindful of all of that, both in how you look at your past and how you think about your future, which led to this third layer, and that's who to be. What is parental alienation? What do you do about it? And who to be while you're showing up to create cracks in this wall? And who you need to be doesn't mean changing yourself. And Ryan, as you were saying, it doesn't mean like, oh, it's just Pollyanna, feel good, like it's it's not that. It's actually like, it can be very scary to maneuver through some of the deeper mental fears and emotions, but we will tell you that when you do that and you can peel those layers away, it feels like an elephant has come off of your shoulders, because for the first time, maybe ever, or in a really long time, you really get to live in alignment with your truth. So wherever you're at in your journey and whatever weight that you're carrying, know that there are so many pieces to this puzzle that you can address, just so long as you're looking at these three things. What is it? What do you need to do? And who do you need to be?
I love it. And the last thing I'll say is that it's something that's always really important for me to say, is that your children need you. Your children need you to help figure out who do you need to be to go and save them from this toxic environment, this toxic person or people in their life. They need you to believe that you are worthy of a relationship. They need you to believe that you are good enough to deserve them and the relationship. They need to believe and they need to know that you are strong enough to go and do what needs to be done when there are options and strategies and things that can be done that can help extricate them from this horrible alienation. They need to know that you believe that you are and have the confidence, the strength, the energy, the ability, and the self-worth to say, me and my kid or my children, we deserve a relationship, and I'm going to do whatever I can. So if you ever feel down, if the alienator and those words ever get into your head where you start believing it because you're depleted and you've got emotional energy leaks everywhere, and you start going, you know what, maybe I'm just better off. Maybe my kids are better off. Maybe I am this, maybe I am that, because you're weakened emotionally, and it's understandable that it would happen. Recognize that that is either the beginning of the end, truly, if you give up, or it can be the absolute start of something that can change your child's life and your life as well. And as the child who was alienated, I can tell you, we need rescuing. We need somebody to come out and give us, and your children need to get new information, new emotions, new soundtrack for them to hear and experience and feel about you that can give them the chance to to change their mind. There is no one who is coming to save them other than you. Mm-hmm. And you have the ability to rise to the occasion. And look, whether that's working with us or not, the message is you are enough and you have more power and control than you think. So don't give up and stay strong and do whatever you can to be able to fortify yourself emotionally and mentally, as well as have the right tools and strategies that you can use to create change in your life and in your child's life and in your relationship.
Yeah, that's so perfectly said.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, it's our true pleasure to be able to bring these insights and these perspectives to you. So we'll look forward to seeing you in another session. Thanks so much.
See you next time.